Hi, I am KBXF, and I would like to show you the possibilities and functionality of my product, Node Positioner and Grabber. First, let me show you how it works, and then I'll show all the embedded tools and functions in more detail. But before I start, I want to point out the problem for which I wanted to create a solution. If you're working with a D-force dress and a D-force magnet, for example, you'll come to the situation where the magnet is not where it needs to be. To correct the position of the magnet, you have to select it, and thus lose the vertex marker. And this is exactly what the Node Positioner and Grabber prevents. So the basic idea of the script is that you can keep your Daz Studio settings, your selected nodes, your tool, and your vertex, and thus keep your marker points, while positioning completely different nodes. And now, let's see how it works. After starting the script, you'll see three main sections. The Nodes section on the left, to select the nodes you want to work with. The Transform section in the middle, to transform the selected node. And the Viewport Control section on the right, to control your visible viewports even while the script is running. To position the magnet correctly, select it and transform it, which is very easy because we can still see our vertex marker in the scene. For more control, you can use the Viewport Control section. You can aim your view at the magnet, adjust the focal length, and switch to orbit mode. Now you can rotate the view horizontally and vertically around the magnet, and check from any desired position whether the magnet is positioned correctly. If you are using the timeline, you can use the timeline slider to go to the frame you want and position your magnet for that frame. This way the magnet will follow the mesh for as long as needed. So that's the basic functionality of the Node Positioner and Grabber. Keep your Daz Studio settings and position other nodes. Additionally, embedded in the script are some tools that can be very useful in many of your scenes. I will explain these in a moment in the details section. And as a bonus, for 3 of them you'll get a standalone version for practical use. Now, let's have a look at some details. Maybe you have a complex scene like this, with many props, and you know there are candles, but you don't know where they are or what they look like. With the full version of the script, you can combine the Node Grabber and the Viewport Control to browse your scene for the elements you are interested in. To open the Node Grabber, click on Manage Nodes in the Nodes section. The Node Grabber is a tool that allows you to scan your scene to create the collection of nodes you want to work with. To find the candles, you have to search for any node type and select the selection type search. Assuming the candles have a similar label, select the search strategy by label. Enter candle as the search text and check Select Similar. After that, you can click on Apply and get the list of nodes with the name candle or similar. Now select one of these candles. Go to the Viewport Control section and frame the current viewport on the candle. And that's it. If it is difficult to see the selected item because it is hidden by other things, you can select it in the scene. You can ignore the warning because you really want to do this. If the object is still not clearly visible, you can switch to orbit mode and rotate the view around the object until you can see it clearly. With the standalone version of the Node Grabber, you have other options. The main difference to the full script version is that the collected nodes are selected in the scene and not in the script. This gives you the opportunity to work with them directly in Daz Studio. In this scene, you see 5 candles, each with a flame. If you want to change the luminance of the flames all at once, you can start the node grabber, collect all nodes with the label flame or similar, and click on Apply. Now all flames are selected in Daz Studio. Switch to the Surfaces tab. Select all nodes. Filter the properties. And change the luminance for all flames at once. Another embedded and standalone tool is the Node Aligner, which allows you to align nodes with each other. I will show you some examples of use with the standalone version. To show the basic functionality, I start with a simple scene like this. The goal is to have Victoria kneel on the platform. Select both nodes in the scene and start the Node Aligner. You see that one node is the source and the other is the target. The source is always the node that will be moved, so that it is aligned against the target. If the source and target are swapped, you can swap them again by clicking on Swap Source and Target. The tool uses the points of the boxes of the nodes to align the nodes with each other. Horizontally, these are left, center, and right. Vertical, top, center, and bottom. And lateral, rear, center, and front. Thus, a total of 27 alignment points are available. To align the nodes, click the Apply button. Oops! Don't be angry if the nodes are not aligned correctly right away. The dialog remains open until it is closed via Cancel. This allows the nodes to be gradually aligned with each other until the desired position is reached. Now Victoria kneels perfectly on the platform without the need for height readjustments. And don't worry. If you click Cancel to close the dialog, the alignments you made will not be undone. However, they can be undone after exiting the tool by typing Ctrl-Z. The second example shows a more complex scene, where the Node Aligner can be very helpful. Especially when the scene contains a lot of nodes, and thus the computer gets slower and slower, and it becomes very tedious to move the nodes manually. The procedure remains the same. Select the node to be moved, and the target node. Start the Node Aligner, and align the nodes. With the last scene, I would like to demonstrate the remaining options. First, I want to position the small snowball at the very front center of Victoria's head. So the ball should be horizontally and vertically in the middle of her head. And laterally the back of the ball should be at the front of her face. Oops, again. This is really not what we expected. The main reason is that not both boxes are completely vertical, but Victoria's head is turned. Thus the following must be done. First, the ball must also be rotated to match the rotation of Victoria's head. And second, the oriented boxes, respecting the rotation, must be used. That's it. Now the snowball is exactly where we expected it to be. Next, a camera is placed to show what Victoria sees. If we use settings similar to the ones just shown, we can see that the camera is pointing in the wrong direction. We can correct this by checking reverse direction. The camera is still a bit too low now, so it goes through the mouth instead of the eyes. And it is still too far back, so that it shows the inside of the head. That's it again. Now, the camera shows what Victoria sees. The last feature I want to show you is the camera to view assigner. First, I show the embedded version. In the Nodes section, select the node that specifies the change. In the Viewport Control section, select the viewport to be changed. You can also choose another view and/or another draw style. After a click on Apply Node, the viewport has the desired display. Even though the functionality was intended for cameras, it also works for lights, for example. For the standalone version, the target viewport must be the active viewport, and the camera to be transferred must be selected in the scene. A short query assures that the transfer to be executed is really the desired one. There. That was an overview of the possibilities of the node positioner and grabber. Thanks for watching this video. Good night and good art.